Hey, welcome back to another DFO video. Today's topic is the Third Awakening Male Priest, and this will be part 3 of my Crusader guide. Since Sirocco recently dropped and Third Awakening Male Priest, there are a few additions to skills and enchantments that I do want to go over. So, without further ado, here is how to optimize your Third Awakening Crusaders. First is understanding your Third Awakening, what it does. So your Third Awakening is Final Judgment. If you link it to your 1A, which is your Apocalypse, you get a 10% extra bonus on top of your regular Apocalypse. You get increased movement and attack speed, which is huge, and the buff duration is 40 seconds. And now during this 40 seconds, your Final Judgment will persist through rooms as well. And the icon for it will just look like this. You see your 1A goes on cooldown and your 3A is applied. So your 3A essentially becomes your Apocalypse that persists through rooms for 40 seconds, 110% extra buff. Now if you link it to your Second Awakening, be sure to level up the skill Punishment. I have no clue why they separated your Second Awakening from Ascension and Punishment. I have no clue why to do that, but you gotta +1 this skill in order to actually use the skill. So once you link it to your 2A, Final Judgment essentially becomes a different skill that you have to apply with your Apocalypse as well, and it's 25% of your Apocalypse value. So for example, I'm going to APOC here, and let's say my APOC does around 20k. Now I got to apply my 3A as well, and 3A will be 25% of my Apocalypse, so that would be around like 5k. Note your 3A will only last 20 seconds, but your Apocalypse duration will be as normal, and the Apocalypse lasts for 30 seconds. Now keep in mind these two icons are different, so you do have to apply your 1A and your 3A as well. Now note your 3A is a super long animation before it actually hits something. So if you're like super Omega Brain, you would do 1A. And you would like throw out a skill, for example, your Crash and Cross. You can throw out a Flash Sphere, and then you apply your 3A. And now, because you do this, you get the Hammer Jupiter debuff that stacks 3 times. So if you're like super proactive Crusader, this is a smart way to apply maximum debuffs with your 1A and your 3A combined. Another tech you can do if you have, for example, the 4 Sacred Cross and the Resplendent Glory Cross, what you can do is you pop 1A, you do the tech like I said before, you pop a Flash Sphere so you can get the Jupiter debuff, you pop the 3A, and then once the icon pops in the left corner, you can swap to Resplendent Glory and then pop the equipment option. And now all of a sudden, you get your maximum Apocalypse, your 3A, and then you get the added benefit of the Resplendent Glory option as well, which is super armor for your entire party, a bigger aura range, and you get plus 30% movement speed. For everything else, your skill build is technically the same. Something interesting about the Agent of God passive is that your Crash and Cross and your Spear of Victory did get buffed. So as you can see, it has a bigger AoE to apply to your party members, but the actual Crash and Cross skill is actually super lame. It barely increases your allies' PMI. So yeah, it's just an interesting thing to note. And the Spear of Victory is now fully charged without actually charging it, and it's a 2.5 second hold. So what I did was I kept my Spear of Victory at level 1. And with TPs, I maxed it so I can get an increased duration on it. And now it looks like this. Spawn here, you don't even need to charge it, you just pop it like that. Maximum hold for around 3 seconds or so. Now let's talk about enchantments. With the addition of Sirocco Raid, the new Sirocco monster cards have been released, and there are new best in slot enchants. Notably, enchants that you can actually use on your top, your bottom, and your weapon. And these cards actually give you Vitality or Spirit, which is super pog. And as you can see, we have the Drifting Gurumi, which is plus 50 vitality to your weapon top bottom. If you want the spirit version is Devouring Gusty, which you can also apply to your top, bottom, and weapon. And instead of your usual plus 75 vitality, now there's a card called In the Fog or something like that. Let me see here. In the Fog. Assassin in the Fog. Plus 100 vitality to your shoulder, belt, shoes. And there's also a spirit version, of course. And the spirit version is called Roxy. Basically, overall, you do get around like plus 200 stats if you're fully min-maxed, which is pretty nice. And that's kind of all for my part 3 of my Crusader build. There's nothing much to add except for bigger buffs, addition of the 3A and new enchantments. But if there's anything that I missed that's important, feel free to leave a comment below and I'll pin it to the top. Other than that, thanks for watching and until next time.